Welcome, friends. Yeah, I started the show off with like welcome friends for the last like 3 or 4, but this is the first time I have like my sweet mate here who really used to go. Like sophomore year, we used to have a doormat that said welcome friends in the beginning, and it was great. It was really like welcoming every time you got off like the elevator. We had the elevator, it was sweet. And then junior year, we moved up to bless this home. You can get these at Walmart. Really nice way to spruce up, especially safe room living spaces. But welcome to the Cucumber. This is Yale's original stand-up comedy show, brought to you by the original humor magazine in America, the Yale Record. Usually, this is in our first year. This is in our first performance of the year. We had a couple last semester, so we usually don't do the whole spiel about what is the Cucumber, what do we do here, but I've been noticing more and more that people just still don't know who the fuck we are and what we do. We'll do a little class participation. Please raise your hand if this is the first time, this performance is the first time you've ever heard of the Cucumber or any kind of stand-up comedy show named after a vegetable. Right, and keep your hands up, but put them down if you're like a freshman, because that's okay. If you're a freshman, but anybody else who still haven't heard of the Cucumber, that's just pathetic. Literally, this has been going on since before any of us were here. I've been doing it myself for like 3 years. Though at this point, I hardly do any work. I have to get like chairman of the record, Jack, to twist my arm to do most of it. I'm more of like a ceremonial figurehead that nobody recognizes and nobody knows the name of. So, it's kind of a good place to be for me, but it's a little bothersome that people still don't know what the Cucumber is. So who we are, we try to get newcomers into comedy. That's our main goal. We're not like a specified group of people. We're the record, and we try to get rookies into comedy. And so you're not scared. We also have a lot of people who have done it before tonight. It's not going to be all rookies, but history shows that even they always do a really good job. So y'all, thanks for coming tonight. Despite the conditions outside, I'm sure it was rough, but you're gonna have a great time. There's gonna be a lot of laughs. Also, one reason I'm sure that the Cucumber really hasn't hit it off yet is that I don't usually do sets. In 3 years, as I said, I've done like maybe 2 or 3 sort of comedy sets. Like one of them was pretty good, the other one was god awful. Damn. It ended with me saying, what was it?
Black people.
I hate black people or something like that. I'm black, by the way, for applause. But that's how it went. There was just no punchline, and I was, But tonight, I'm gonna joke it up. Y'all ain't even ready. It's gonna be jokes on jokes. It's gonna be lighthearted and it's gonna be whimsy all over the place. Gonna start this show off. So jokes. So I never knew my father. That's not fiction. I really never met the guy, but I am going to make jokes from that. I'm going to derive. I'm not a math person. What's the derivative of fatherlessness? For me, it tends to be comedy. I make a lot of dadless jokes, right? I do it all the time. I've got a friend. She's right over there. We were having a conversation once where she, we were talking and her dad called. So we were talking and her phone lit up and said Dad on it. She said, I have to take this. So I was like, oh, I understand. I wish I had contacted my phone when I was called Dad. And the same friend, her dad gave her flowers for Valentine's Day, and they're sitting in the common room right now. And she wasn't here for this, but me and another friend, her sweet mate, were there, and I was saying, oh yeah, my dad sends me flowers all the time too, in those fantasies I have where I have Dad. And she's heard these jokes a lot, so she was she might be a little bit jaded, and she was just like, even if you were close with your dad, he wouldn't send you flowers on I was like, oh yeah, that's right, that whole gender thing, father-son, traditional relationships. I've read about those. And so most of my friends, they just it makes them feel uncomfortable, which is, most of the enjoyment I get out of them. I mentioned I'm black, again, hold the applause. But the few black people in this room, a lot of our humor. I mean, don't we love making, there are seriously no black people in this room, because we look like a couple. It's dark up here, I don't know. But yeah, don't we love making white people feel uncomfortable? Because it's funny, and y'all deserve it. It's kind of how I feel with my dad jokes, and some of my friends are into it. Like, I've got this friend that I hate, and I mean, we got mutuals here, and they can confirm. Really hate fucking this guy. And I was telling him I told him once over dinner, I hate everything about your existence. And he told me, wow, you sound like your dad 21 years ago. I thought it was great. And I laughed. And it was just a nice little like dinner table rapport that we had. But like this has really turned into kind of an art form for me. Because you got to be quick with some of these things. Like the Super Bowl had this commercial about dads. I mean, it was actually about a car, but of course, like nothing about commercials about cars until the very end. And it was for the new Hyundai Genesis, right? And they finally had like a line of dialogue after this nice like feel-good montage, and it was remember when only dad could save the day? I was like, no, no, Hyundai, tell me about dads. And like I wonder like what would the world be like if I did make that joke, and it would be less entertaining for me. And so I mean it's really important that I say those kinds of things. But that commercial in particular, I really had a good time with that commercial because the first time I saw it, and if you don't know it, it's just like a montage, like there's like a little baby and he's like running and he trips, but dad like scoops him up before he hits the ground. And then there's like a little kid and he's like walking through a playground and like somebody's swinging and you're gonna hit him with a swing and dad like push him out. And just like these clumsy ass kids. And the first time I saw it, I was really confused because it was all like white fathers and white kids, and I thought it was like a different montage of families, but they were just all white. And I thought it was kind of an unwritten rule at this point in commercials that if you have something that's supposed to represent like the country or like some kind of like a bunch of different families and stuff or a bunch of different people, like you have to throw some color in it. You have to throw a little splash of black, Asian, Indian, anything, because it's people gonna dog on for it later. And it was just almost as if like the dominant and therefore only recognizable understanding of fatherhood in this country is that only white fathers care for their But I mean, just the twist to that is that my father was white. I know, it's crazy, just in case any of y'all thought there was just another black guy up here talking about not knowing fathers. I really wish there was one of you guys in the audience that was really thinking that right now. If I hear one more black stand-up comedian talk about not knowing his father, I'm gonna go institute some voter ID laws. I So yeah, my father is indeed white. Or at least that's what my mother tells me. Like I said, I've never actually met the guy. That's my set.